I was at Karachi Grammar School, and since about class 6 or class 7, the urge to become a designer was there. Both my brother Arshad and myself, we both wanted to get into some sort of designing. We identified a very famous architect in Karachi, and so we interned with him. For 2 years we did that. We wanted to go for our professional studies, and since there was no degree awarding institution, architectural degree awarding institution in Pakistan, we went to the US, both went to Chicago, and that's where we did our bachelor's, and we worked there for a year, got a little training, and then moved back. And I think at the age 10 or 12, we made a model of our house that we were living in. And so I think the interest was there since very young. Then one of our cousins recommended to my father that why don't they become architects? We had no clue what an architect was. And all you heard was that there's a mistri who will come and there's an engineer sahab who will come. So there was no concept of an architect as such. So I think it was maybe in the early 60s is that when we decided that we will become architects. Architecture was never for money. It was always, if there was a challenge, we would take it on. We tried to avoid getting into big projects because we didn't know enough, and we were honest about it that there is no jumping into a big project for any reason such as fame or whatever. So we continued with homes, we continued with smaller buildings, we continued like this, and learning in the process. So I think that gave us a reasonably good grounding, that if you know how to build something small, then making something big becomes very easy. And I would like to say this to my young professionals, that it never works the other way around. Because the architect, the only way you can advertise is through your work. And unfortunately, unlike an artist, you can't make it go away. You make your building, and if it doesn't go right, you have to live with it for the rest of your life. Well, the traits that you need to have to become an architect, one, you have to want to become an architect. You have to want to design, you have to want to create. Two, one should not be money-minded, because as in a lot of professions, there's not much money in this. Yes, there is money in architecture, but it's not a business. I honestly don't know. People say, well, you should know how to draw. No, nonsense. You should know how to think. If you are slightly creative, you have to be curious about how things are put together. You have to be extremely observant. Observing if something is looking good, why is it looking good? To be able to analyze them. Taking critique. You could build something, you should be able to crit yourself. Okay, it doesn't look very nice. Architecture is a very wide field. You could be a designer, just a designer, and you could be very good at it, but you may not know how to put things together. आपने डिज़ाइन कर लिया, then you say, well, it's a great design, but I don't know how I can build it like that. So you could be very good at putting things together, or you could be very good at managing construction, that you understand architecture and you can manage the project very well. Or you can become a landscape architect, or you could be very influenced with interiors as an architect. So there are various areas that you need to see where your heart is. If I take myself as an average architect, which I'm not, meaning there are a few architects who are crazy enough like me. The average day is a very, very tiring day, but not mentally tiring. That is what makes the difference. You enjoy what you're doing. There are days where you're at your drafting table or your design table, and you are drawing things out, or you're visualizing and you're drawing and whatever, and you could be working 15 hours and 18 hours in a day, and at the end of the day you say, wow, yeah, I really love what I have designed. Or after that 18 hours you say, oh my God, I don't like what I have done, and you throw the wad of paper away and you start afresh. I usually work with a team, and I think that's always the best way to work, is when you have a team of architects with you, so there's a crit. That's how good designs happen. So average day in an office could be a lot of fun, could be a little frustrating. So in the initial years, it's not very easy. You need to prove yourself. You need to prove yourself again and again and again. Hey, listen, I'm good what I do. But the guy doesn't have to listen to you. You may think you're good, but nobody else does. So an average day could be at the office designing. An average day could be running around your sites. It's a very intense day. Pros and cons of being an architect. I think it's especially in Pakistan. If your stuff comes out right, you get a high because people start talking about it, people start praising it, so your entire thakan that you've gone through just goes away. The way I see pros is that you can contribute so much to your society. I see it as a major pro that you have these weapons to bring about the change, a physical change. Cons, I think you'll have an encyclopedia of cons. Cons, you really don't have much of a life if you've married yourself into this profession. आपको घड़ी देख के काम नहीं कर सकते. If your goal is only to make money, keep very far away from this profession. What you design, it never comes out that way, because you don't find the right contractor, you don't find the right supplier, and you were constantly frustrated, this is not what I wanted. So I would say for the younger generation, you really have to be in love with this profession if you want to get into it. Otherwise, don't even attempt it. We're talking about opportunities in Pakistan. There is so much to do in Pakistan. So much to do. As I mentioned, that if you become an architect, you could get into the 1 or 2 dozen aspects of architecture. You could end up making building blocks. You could end up doing glazings. You could end up doing landscaping. You could end up doing loads of opportunities out here. I mean, this is the land of opportunity, and there is zero competition. Zero competition, because there is so much to do. The way I see it, every architect has enough. Every architect who is practicing honestly and who's practicing well has enough business. I think it's important to have an education in architecture because it is so technical. You need to know a little about structure, that you can't put up a roof unless you have some support that's going to support the roof. I'm not interested in any degrees. That's not important. It's usually, for me, it's much better that you are very good at what you do. You have to have it in you. Yes, depending on your office, how large your office is, if you need engineers there, if you do engineering also as a service, you need project managers, you need various others. But no, not as a rule, I will not hire any other professional unless that professional has some expertise. Like a textile designer could be a part of your team because you are working on a huge hotel. But an average architect's office will not require anybody else but architects. I feel very sorry for people who feel that they have everything in them, and you start your own office. Who is there to give you a crit? Who is there to say, hey, it doesn't look very nice? So as far as success and failure is concerned, now your question was that what if it didn't work out the way I thought it would work out? So I feel that if you are not a very good designer, then you become a very good something else. My COO in my office graduated as an architect. I taught her architecture at the Indus Valley School. And when she graduated, she wasn't a very good designer. But I said, look, don't even attempt to be an architect. Get into project management because you're very, very organized, you're very methodical, so what happens? She gets into project management and she's my COO, about to become my CEO of my office. So whatever you do, you have to be good at something and try to be the best at it, because you're either the best or you like the rest.